López Obrador announces continuity of the migration assistance plan, 45 days after the implementation of the plan to address the migration phenomenon. The Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Marcelo Ebrard, and the Secretary of State of the United States, Michael Pompeo, made a good evaluation, and we will continue with the same strategy, said President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. In a morning press conference, he said that it is convenient for both countries to reach agreements in this regard and reiterated that the best thing was that the migratory flow be ordered, that migrants be cared for, that human rights be respected, and the little accreditation be accredited. Little by little, that it is not an easy matter to attend to the causes that originate the migration. The head of the SRE, Marcelo Ebrard, stressed that the migration flow presents a reduction of 36.2% derived from the strategy adopted by Mexico in accordance with the law itself in the matter. He affirmed that the fact of applying it does not mean acting with subordination to the United States. Among the issues addressed in the meeting at the facilities of the Mexican Foreign Ministry, he stressed the need for joint responsibility and commitment by the United States regarding investment and development opportunities in Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. They discussed the progress in the implementation of SOAN life in El Salvador and Honduras, regarding the control of weapons and the increase in their use registered in Mexico during different criminal acts. They agreed to apply joint actions in Tijuana, Ciudad Juárez, Nuevo Laredo, Reynosa, and Matamoros, in which the Secretariats of Public Security and Citizen Protection will participate, of the National and Marine Defense, the National Guard, and the Attorney General's Office, together with the U.S. authorities, after the interest expressed by the Secretary of State, Michael Pompeo. As for the recovery of the assets of the criminal organization led by the drug trafficker Joaquin Guzman Lora, Ebrard proposed to organize a binational group with the purpose of being recovered by the Mexican state and made available for other purposes, since he said shortly it would serve an arrest and prosecution of a criminal if the assets are not recovered. The representation of Mexico would be composed of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Financial Intelligence Unit of the Ministry of Finance and Public Credit, and the FGR, mainly. In addition to these issues, they talked about the imposition of tariffs on tomatoes and the concern for the 1.4 million affected producers. Likewise, the Secretary of Foreign Affairs asked to review the possibility that the repatriations of Mexicans are by way of the area to Mexico City. It was a successful meeting for the interests of Mexico. It took place in a cordial environment and they agreed on a new meeting within 45 days in Washington, said Marcelo Ebrard. This week the National Migration Institute will present the model of stations with which it will work, starting in Chiapas, Tabasco, and the north of the country. It will have 60 million pesos of the Yucatan Fund for the financing of shares. For refusing inspection, Prefco will announce 2 gas stations before FGR. The Federal Attorney General's Office, Ricardo Sheffield, presented as every Monday the comparative reported brands, prices, and entities in the sale of fuels and LP gas. He said that derived from the report of stations it gave negative verification in previous attempts. A second visit was made to 19 cargo centers, this time with the accompaniment of public security elements. 6 filed irregularities in the fuel dispatch and 2 refused to inspect. So this day the Prefco will file a complaint with the Attorney General's Office and will begin the proceedings before the Energy Regulatory Commission for that pair of gas stations to lose permission to operate. In the weekly operations, he reported that from July 13 to 19, they had 377 stations, of which 3 refused to be verified, 23 presented irregularities, and 146 were in order. Of 3,219 hoses and pumps verified, 46 were immobilized by not selling full liters. He announced that Prefco will maintain communication with the municipal presidents of some regions where there is no competition to analyze the possibility of obtaining a gas station permit to promote competition. In this report, the Redco, Chevron, and Arco brands turned out to be the ones with the highest prices, while Logos, Erson, and Total are the ones with the lowest profit margin and consequently economical compared to the rest.